I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is Allthemods 9, and today we set up the ultimate early game Quarry, and I hope you guys are ready. So back into Allthemods 9, and I will say we are progressing quite nice. We already have ourselves a simple storage, we have ourselves a little mob farm, and we have ourselves some little automation, and we've accessed the nether and gained access to netherite and some really cool ways of locating ores. But we're still limited early on by one single factor, and that is we don't have access to Allthemodium yet. And I think that is going to be incredibly important, as it's going to allow us to gain access to things like builders and many other useful things in this pack. Now, with those things in mind, we need to take a look at the quest. And this tells us to get Allthemodium, to get access to the ore, what we need to go to is a deep dark biome. Now, I'm hoping it can be just any deep dark biome, and it doesn't actually have to be where the warden lies. But this is usually a really large area, so I might as well, kind of take both of them on at the same time. Now, I won't probably be able to fight the warden just yet, but at least locating where the ancient city is at would be kind of nice. But all we really need to do is just find our first piece of Allthemodium. Now, this is all easier said than done. Locating an ancient city is not an easy task. Even in modded Minecraft, it is quite a tedious task. Now, we don't necessarily have to find it, but like I said, I really want to try and find it while I'm also locating this ore. And what's going to help us in that journey is the Nature's Compass. This is a really awesome mod that lets us locate biomes throughout the entire world and in multiple dimensions. It doesn't locate structures, but it will locate specific biomes that you're looking for. And one of those biomes is actually the deep dark. So we can just start a search for the deep dark. That's pretty cool. And it shows us there's one over in this direction, about 1,000 blocks out. Now, just because it's located a deep dark biome doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to contain an ancient city. But I do have a way of potentially finding an ancient city while in this search. And the best way that I've been told through my discovery while playing in the newer versions of Minecraft is that we can just search for a hill biome. And then once we've made it to this hill biome, such as a windswept hills, and we've located this, then we can do our search and potentially locate an ancient city, because these are going to be found most commonly underneath mountain biomes. So I'm off in this direction towards that windswept hills, with the hope that once we search there, we'll actually discover maybe an ancient city. I have my doubts though. So now here I am at the windswept hills, but it is right next to the ocean, which has me kind of questioning maybe this is not going to work. But we can go ahead and look for the deep dark, and let's go ahead and run a search. And it's still pointing me in this direction, like that's a major location out that way, which means there's probably not a deep dark biome on this hill, but it was worth a shot. Now my hopes just got a little bit better, because this is actually also in a mountainous biome. So while this did lead me in a direction of a deep dark, it also appears that this is on a hilly biome, and I just have really high hopes now. So now for the fun part. That's right, we've got to dig all the way down. Yes, digging a hole straight down. It used to be a problem, but I think now it's definitely still a problem. So yeah, digging down, definitely do at your own risk, but you can do the double method if you absolutely feel like it. It's just going to take twice as many blocks to mine. Now this is going to be at the very bottom of the world, and that means it's going to go below Y level 0. It's going to take quite a while to get down here. Oh, I just got the quest for visiting the deep dark. So we are in a deep dark biome. It is incredibly dark here, and I don't see any caves just yet. However, on my map, I do see that if I continue in the direction I'm facing, I might potentially find that cave. I will say it is completely dark here, but I have, I think, found the end here. Yes, we found the location. I don't think I have to worry too much about like the warden spawning in this. I don't think, but this is definitely it. No way. No way, we just found it. I mean, it makes sense. This is a massive little area, and that's it. That's Allthemodium. That's in the wall there. We have some Allthemodium, and I did actually bring my netherite pick, I do want to grab this because this is incredibly important. I wonder how, like, it's supposed to be kind of rare here. But there we go. We ended up getting 2 because fortune does work. And that's our quest. Oh, that is so nice. So we just got that, like, right away. I know it's incredibly dark in here. You know what? Let's go ahead and see if we can't find more. But I do want to go ahead and place down my waystone. And we'll call this the Deep Dark. And we should be able to head back to the base. And I want to make a night vision charm. So I will quickly do this. Oh, yeah, this breaks it entirely, doesn't it? I wonder if I can just manually craft this with like blaze powder. Can I do this? And then you take that, and then will it actually craft it? Aha, it does. So perfect. Now we have a night vision charm. And so we should be able to head back and do some more exploring in this little area. I'm pretty excited. Night vision on, and wow, we can see so much clearer. And this is what I'm wondering. I'm wondering how rare is that? We just found it in the wall there, but is there more in the wall back here? Doesn't appear like there's more. Okay, and I don't think I should worry about, like, I don't see any shriekers. And those are the things that spawn the warden. So I'm not too scared of this other than the fact that, you know, hostile mobs can spawn. So far, so good. Ooh, we have one of these. These are always great to loot. Nothing good in it though. And we have a harvest moon. So spying around here, I'm not seeing any more in the wall. Gold can be pretty deceiving as it does look very similar. Very, very similar. Aha. Okay, nothing around here. So far, we would probably have to do more digging, maybe? Nope, there's another one right here. Oh my goodness. And I can only imagine once we take this and make an Allthemodium site, which we should be able to do to locate more, we will be finding tons more throughout this area. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, because I've had times where this was incredibly difficult to find. And the fact that we just found it here in the wall. That is amazing. This ore opens up so much in this pack. You have no idea. Because while this is kind of a kitchen sink mod pack, it's also kind of balanced-ish, where some things are gated behind progression such as this, where you do have to find these ores to progress. While I was explaining that, there's another one. Look at this. Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, I do hope that your luck is as good as mine has been. While exploring, I think we've also uncovered the ancient city. Yes, the mini-map has exposed it. It is right here. This is 100% an ancient city, and it's not even that far from where we're currently at. It is now at this point that I should be kind of careful, because as soon as we start getting close to that, shriekers will be available to spawn the warden, and I am in no position right now to fight said warden. So I need to be extra cautious. It's already happening. I'm getting closer, and they're detecting my block breaking. Oh, this is not good. Now this should be it. Oh, I'm so spooked out by this because right there are shriekers. Right there. And I don't have really any way of removing them aside from maybe doing this, but they can chain. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if they detect my hover sounds. Oh, they totally detect the hover. Okay. I cannot get super close to them as it will set that off. Oh, I will head over here though. Oh, there is a shrieker nearby. Okay, let's slowly land. I really need to get some wool. I was just seeing if there was anything kind of nice over here. Loot chests, man, they just got a hold on me. Oh, there's another one. There's another Allthemodium. Yes, I will take all of it. But where am I going to place my waystone? Because I want access to this area, but I'm also super worried. Okay, so at least we're able to wander around it a little bit without setting anything off. Oh my goodness. And this place is huge up here. Okay, so we're doing pretty good so far. There's all kinds of loot chests. I will take them. Ooh, amethyst. And there was a geode. I will take it. Oh, there we go. Let's get, come on, loot. There we go. Perfect. But I don't think there's anything right now to necessarily loot from here. However, in the future, we will need to loot from this area. Definitely going to need to do that. Oh, this is a super spooky place to be right now. Especially when I know I am not ready for it. But we do have a dungeon that leads straight into here. So this is actually a fantastic place, I think, to set up a waystone. And we'll just call it again, the deep, dark. And now we have a way back and forth. And we also have a great view. Now, if you're wondering how to manage your map settings so that way you can see things like this, whenever you open up your map, make sure you have Show Caves clicked, and then you want to set your cave layers down to, for me, in this case, -3, and that is how you're able to see cave layers when you're down this low, which is super helpful. And then when you're above ground, you can turn off the caves, and you can see above ground again. Now, I definitely want to do a loot and dip. I want to grab as much loot as I can while I'm here before I head back, just because I know that it's going to be so worth it. Still waiting for, oh, there's a mimic. Yes, I'm still waiting for one of these mimics to drop me something really nice. Come on, mimic. Please give me a good artifact. You know what? Those are actually pretty good artifacts. That's night vision goggles. And that allows me to basically not need this charm, which is slowly depleting anyways. So yeah, it just gets equipped into my head slot, which I should have somewhere. There it is. And now we have permanent night vision. That's incredibly nice. I do want to try and loot at least one of these chests. Okay, so we end up getting a smithing template warden upgrade, and we get some echo shards and some more smithing templates. Also, ancient knowledge fragment. So these are all kind of interesting things that we wouldn't have if we hadn't have looted. This just didn't have any shriekers on it or anything like that, so I figured it would be nice to loot. And I do see tons of other shriekers with no real way at the moment to clear them out. Oh, you've got to love these glasses. These are just sick looking when they're on. But anyways, I do want to mention that you can actually double your ore quite effectively with the hammers from the All the Ores mod. And so this is going to be perfect. We need to do this because we have essentially can take our 11 that we have here and we can turn it into 22 by simply combining it with this, and we'll get ourselves some dust. And then that just needs to be smelted or blasted, and we should be looking pretty good here. This is going to get us some ingots, and then I can turn that ingot into an Allthemodium site, much like this one that we have for the netherite. Now, you may be wondering, what is all of this Allthemodium used for? Why do I even need it? And that's where I want to show you this. So it is used for a ton of different modded crafts in this pack. So if we want to eventually get an upgrade on our jetpack, taking emerald and going further, we're going to need Allthemodium. We're going to need it for tons of these good high tier upgrades, but we're also kind of not really seeing the full picture here with just the ingot, right? Because there's also the plates, and believe it or not, this pick is used for something like the ore laser base, right? Or even making the atomic disassembler, which is really nice. There's also several other things. And if we go back even further and we take a look at this being turned into a nugget, we'll see that there's a ton of things that actually use this as a nugget as well, such as the builder, which is one of my favorite tools, not only to just quarry with, but to actually build with. And so all of these things, including the solid fuel quarry, which is like one of the basic of basic quarries from the Quarry Plus mod, that is even gated by this. So all of these things are something that you definitely need to keep in mind. And definitely why I wanted to push this. Look at that. Even building gadgets is sort of gated by this. Now, I definitely want to make myself an Allthemodium site, and this also goes for the vibranium and unobtainium that we'll eventually get as well. And all of those are going to open up new mods as well. So I am now super excited. We've just unlocked a ton of new things to play with. And this also means I'm going to gain access to a ton more building materials. You may be wondering why or how, and that's because we've gained access to new tools to allow me to gain them. Oh, and that makes me super happy. So with this, now that we have the Allthemodium site, we can see, but there's also another place we just gained access to, and that is the mining dimension. So we should be able to now make a plate using these nuggets we should gain access to a completely new dimension. And that is going to allow us to mine. And I'm actually pretty happy about this because in this dimension, if I right click this, I believe it's shift right click, this should, if placed in the overworld, take us to this new dimension. And the sky doesn't normally look like that. It's just because we have our night vision goggles on. I'm pretty sure the time does reflect what it currently is in the overworld. And this is just a flat place to just work on things, right? It does look like the build height. We are currently at Y level 253, but this should contain different levels all the way down. So we'll have an overworld layer at the top, and then this continues to work its way down all the way through, I believe, to the end. I don't know if remember, but I do know that it has a nether area. So we might even be able to find vibranium in this mining dimension. Now, mining through that dimension by hand is no easy task by any means. So one of the best ways to go through that dimension is going to be with some sort of builder or some sort of quarry. And we just actually unlocked the builder. But the problem with the builder is it's going to require a ton of power. And that's something that, well, we just don't have a lot of, given that we only have this measly little starter solar panel. So if we look into the quest, we might get something as a reward from the rare rewards. We got a dragon head. Okay, well, that's interesting. And then this one doesn't give us any rewards, but we should have access to some power tabs that might actually help us. And this tab is the all the power tab. And if we take a look here, it talks about several different ways that we can actually generate power, including like a gas burning generator and going through all of these different methods. And I definitely know what could be the best mechanism. But there are many other methods that we can dive into even earlier than that later game, mid-game mechanism power. Now, one of the things that we could do, because we know how high up in the air we are in the mining dimension, we could use one of the best methods, I think, at least for that dimension, and that is going to be wind power from mechanism. But that does mean we need to get into a little bit of mechanism. And I want to preface this a little bit because mechanism did an entire texture rechange. So this mod looks a lot different. Even though it all functions the same way, it is definitely different looking. And that includes all of the parts that are used to make all of these things. For example, the wind generator. You may notice that the basic control circuit doesn't look like the basic control circuit anymore, nor does infused alloy. It actually looks very reminiscent to create textures and a lot of those different parts. And even the energy tablets look totally different. But making these things are still just as simple as it used to be. So we still need a metallurgic infuser with some redstone and iron, and we can easily make up some wind generators. Now to power my two machines, which yes, I did end up making two of these, I'm just going to use a coal generator, and we'll set these up temporarily for our main power supply for these as we get working on a better version. So the first few things that I need to set up inside of here to get started with mechanism and this system is redstone and iron in one, and then I like to set up redstone and osmium in the other. This is going to produce the basic control circuits, and this is going to produce the infused alloy, which are the two fundamental crafting recipes or components that get you started with this mod. Now the quest does mention a heat generator, and this is actually a kind of useful way of getting power, but it does require you to either feed it some sort of lava source, which can be kind of a pain, right? Because early game lava is not the easiest thing to come by, even though you can get it very, very early. Or surround it, which I think having lava placed in the world can be kind of tedious, but it's definitely worth completing as you do get some nice rewards for making it. And you can see right here, we actually get a chance to get some control circuits and stuff like that just for making these things, including doing all of these quests. Definitely want to do them. Now, this whole process only took roughly 2 minutes. So it's very, very easy to get these wind generators crafted up. And now that we have them crafted up, we get to use them with a builder. Now, to make the builder work and to be able to quarry with it, I recommend a few things. You're going to need a shaped card. I like to set mine to clearing, but you can have it go ahead and set it to dirt. By default, it will fill in whatever it breaks with dirt, and then a filter module. And the filter module is actually kind of new to me, as I never knew it existed until recently because of you guys commenting down below. it definitely helped me out. In my last series, you guys were like, you should use a filter module, and I didn't know what it did. Now I do, and it's insanely powerful. Let me show you how powerful this can be. Now, I do have some pipes from the actual quest, and I did manage to get some universal pipes as a reward, which is going to be very nice, as it should allow me to transfer some power from these two wind generators that look just like this. This is fantastic, by the way. They are going to be generating quite a bit of power. Now, it does say it's outputting 192 FE, but I think this is the middle section is the actual power generation. Yes, it is producing 70 FE per tick, which is not too bad. So the combined here is producing over 100 FE per tick. Now, what I want to do is I want to use that power inside of the builder. So let's go ahead and hook in some cables to the sides. And we just need to simply make sure that this is feeding the power over. So I should be able to shift right click. And now that should be pulling power from the turbines and feeding into here. Now, this isn't going to maximize the efficiency because this actually uses over 5,000 without it being infused, 5,000 RF per tick. But it will work, just not as fast. So now that we have that, the only other thing we're missing is a lever to turn it on. And we also need some sort of inventory for it to send the things that it's quarrying to. So now with the inventory placed, I'm going to try my best to explain how this shape card works. It's not too hard to understand. If we think about everything happening in correlation to the builder from within these numbers, we should be fine. So I think this is our X, this will be our Y, and this is our Z. So this is going to be our vertical that goes up and down, and we control that by our Y level. And so we should be able to set this as a positive number or a negative number. And then we also have our offset. Now our offset is how it actually moves this box we're going to be generating in correlation to the builder itself. So if I wanted to move this whole setup like 5 blocks up from the builder, then I would place 5 here. And that means that whatever we had in that upper slot as the bounds, it would move that 5 blocks up in correlation to the builder. So with that knowledge, even though you don't really need to know too much about it, we can go ahead and set like a 9 by 9 by 9 cube inside of here, displaying just like that. And whenever we place this in and we actually show it, you're going to notice that we get a cube, but it also goes underground. That's because it's in correlation to the builder. So it is making this 9 by 9 with the builder as the center point of the actual shape that it's putting out. So that is something that we need to keep in mind when we're actually inputting numbers in here. Now, there is a little bug that I have noticed that we just seen when I opened this up. Notice when I initially opened it up, there was numbers down here. That can sometimes happen, and it's something that you have to check every now and then. There it is. It actually displayed. And if we void those out, it doesn't really seem to matter, but sometimes it can mess with things up. And it's just a weird bug with the builder. For now, we just need to simply worry about quarrying, right? So let me show you this. Now, I want to try my best to explain this. To just set a basic quarry from our current height, what we could do is we can leave this at 9 and 9, and we can expand this as we need it as we go. Our Y level is what's really important. Currently, we're at Y level 253. So let's just go ahead and assume that it's going to be 256 as our total number. It makes math a little easier within the Minecraft world. And then we also know that that's only from Y level 0, and it can go down to negative 64. So let's just assume that we add those together and we get ourselves 320, right? So we now take 320 and we should be able to divide that number, divide 320 by itself or by 2, and that'll give us 160. So with that, we'll say 320 is our total size that we want this box to be. And then we want our offset to be by 160. And so we'll do a negative 160, which is going to lower it 160 blocks below our builder. And that should work. And when we display this, we won't see a display. And that's because it should be a few blocks actually lower than our current position. So let's see if I can't potentially mine this out so we can see where that box is actually at. So if I display this, notice it's right at our feet. So this is like perfect and maths out perfect, which means that everything should be mineable underground, and it should be hitting the complete bottom of the world, which I think is going to be pretty good. right? So we should gain access to all of that stuff. And how are we going to gain access to it? Well, it's going to be through this filter module. So this filter module allows us to specify specifically what to mine. So if I wanted to only mine iron, I could say only mine iron. If I wanted to mine only diamonds, we can do that. So we can go in here and do diamond. And we should be able to find something that's tagged with diamonds, or you can set specific things. So I think forge ore is something that we can do, forge ore diamonds, and then we can go ahead and select that. And it's going to look for all things that are considered diamonds and forge ore diamonds. And that's pretty good. That's something that we kind of want. And if I put this in this filter slot and I was to turn this on, it's going to start mining for only the things that are in that area. But it is going to take quite a while as we don't really have a whole lot of power going into this. But yes, it will eventually, once it reaches a chunk that has that diamond in it, it will mine that diamond and it will go into the barrel. So this is an effective way of farming ores. Now let's stop this for a moment and let's just go ahead and in here, let's add iron. So we'll say, make sure we look for iron ore, and we can go under the forge iron. And sometimes it may be hard to actually see, or actually find what you're looking for, but given enough patience, we should be able to find it. And there we go. So this is forge ore iron. So after searching, I've now found it. So this will be a little bit better of a display, as we should find some almost immediately. Yes, as soon as we turn it on. And there we go. We're already collecting iron in its raw form because it's finding that ore and it's mining it. And this is perfect. So if we let this run and we have a nice selection of the things we want to find, we are surely going to find enough of them. So I expanded my filter to diamonds, to redstone, and to iron, copper, and gold, some of the basic materials, even quartz, because we should be able to find quartz because I believe there's a nether layer that is under here. And so it's mining, it's doing all of its thing. Now I do want to go ahead and I want to make sure that this area is chunk loaded. And so I will have this chunk loaded and it should be able to work so long as the builder itself is chunk loaded. Makes it perfect. Now I also am probably going to want to upgrade the barrel as this is going to fill up quite quickly. So I just grabbed a few materials like a barrel upgrade. So now we have a plenty more space. And then we can also add a few upgrades. How about some stack upgrades? And this is only going to expand how much this can hold. Don't know why I'm getting netherrack dust, unless you happen to get netherite dust when it breaks nether ore, but it's making it. And now to be able to also pick this up when it is done, all we have to do is simply pack it up. I can then break this barrel and then we can move it wherever we want and place it down and it will contain all of its contents. So this is why using barrels is very nice. You could use a chest also, but in my case, I like the way barrels look. So there we go. And this is still working, by the way. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I really love this setup. Now for me to be able to expand it, all I simply need to do is increase the outer distance. So I can go out to like 32 by 32, and it's going to mine a 32 by 32 area from the center of this. And it's going to mine the same thing that we've done, and we can continue to expand that as we go. Now, this is not going to be enough power currently that we have, but I can easily make more wind generators to add to the system here. Now, although we've only gone to the mining dimension, the actual telepad from Allthemodium has more functionality. We actually have the ability to go into the nether and place this, and that would actually give us access to the other dimension mentioned here. And we can also place it in the end once we go there, and it will give us access to sort of a void dimension for making all kinds of cool things, which I really like the idea of having this void dimension. But we also, in that dimension, will be able to travel very similar to the nether, but instead of the 8 or the 1 to 8, we'll be able to travel 1 to 50, which is an insane number to travel. That's a lot. I mean, we would only have to travel 16 blocks to equal 800 blocks traveled in the overworld. That's a distance. You gotta love when these random guys just show up and they're like, hey, here's a mending efficiency 5 fortune 4 pickaxe. Yes, please give me that. and also wither skeleton skulls. This guy is nice. They're being nice to me today. But with all of this being said, we now gained access to the Allthemodium, which means I also gained access to a building gadget, which means we now have the ability, in my opinion, to start expanding on the base. And next episode, potentially building ourselves some more infrastructure, which is going to be very nice. And I cannot wait to have more space and a cool looking area to call home. Now, if you've enjoyed today's episode, might as well consider subscribing. Clicking that subscribe button is one of the best ways to show support, and also giving this video a huge thumbs up. Comment down below as well, as I love to learn from you guys, and you have tons of tips. If there's any new tips that I didn't cover today that maybe you know that I don't, let me know down in the comments below, as I love to read them. And well, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to John Fox. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting me in one of the best ways possible. Man, I'm looking forward to expanding on our base and progressing through this pack, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.